In the heart of a galaxy far beyond human comprehension, where stars shimmered like diamonds scattered across an endless velvet sky, there stood a royal palace unlike any other. Its towering spires glimmered with iridescent hues that shifted as though alive, reflecting every color imaginable and some not even dreamt of by mortal minds. The air was thick with magic, or perhaps it was advanced technology, indistinguishable from sorcery to outsiders, and the grounds were adorned with floating gardens, waterfalls defying gravity, and crystalline structures humming softly with energy. Inside this magnificent fortress lived Princess Lyria, the only daughter of King Zarnok and Queen Vera, rulers of the planet Earthes. Lyria was no ordinary princess. She possessed beauty so radiant it could make suns dim in comparison. Her long silvery hair cascaded down her back like liquid moonlight, and her eyes sparkled with galaxies swirling within them. Yet beneath her ethereal appearance lay a sharp wit, a fierce determination, and a rebellious streak that often clashed with the strict traditions of her people. On Earth, nestled in a quiet coastal town, lived a young man named Cade. He wasn't extraordinary by most standards, just another face in the crowd, but he had a kind heart, a curious mind, and a knack for fixing things. Whether it was repairing old machinery or mending broken friendships, Cade had a way of making everything work again. Little did he know, his life was about to take a turn so unexpected it would leave him questioning reality itself. It all began on a crisp autumn evening when Cade decided to stargaze atop the cliffs overlooking the ocean. The night was unusually clear, and the heavens stretched out before him like an infinite canvas painted with light. As he adjusted his telescope, a relic passed down from his grandfather, he noticed something peculiar. A bright streak cutting through the constellations, moving too erratically to be a meteor. Before he could process what he saw, the object descended rapidly, disappearing behind the horizon. Curiosity tugging at him, Cade grabbed his backpack and flashlight, then set off toward the crash site. The journey took him deep into the woods, where shadows danced eerily under the pale glow of the moon. When he finally reached the clearing, his breath caught in his throat. There, embedded in the earth, was a sleek silver spacecraft shaped like a teardrop, its surface gleaming despite the dirt and debris clinging to it. Smoke curled lazily from its edges, but otherwise, it seemed intact. As Cade approached cautiously, a hatch hissed open, revealing a figure stepping out. His initial shock turned to awe as he realized the being before him was unlike anything he'd ever imagined. She was tall and slender, her skin shimmering faintly with a pearlescent sheen. Her attire, a flowing gown made of material that seemed to ripple like liquid starlight, accentuated her regal bearing. But it was her presence that truly captivated him. Commanding yet gentle, alien yet oddly familiar. "Who are you?" Cade managed to ask, his voice trembling slightly. "I am Lyria," she replied, her melodic voice carrying an accent that sounded both musical and strange. "And you will come with me." Before he could protest, she raised a slender hand, and suddenly the world around him dissolved into a kaleidoscope of colors. When reality snapped back into focus, Cade found himself standing inside the grand hall of the royal palace on Earthes. The opulence overwhelmed his senses. The walls shimmered with holographic murals depicting ancient battles and celestial wonders, while servants clad in shimmering robes moved gracefully about their duties. Lyria led him through corridors filled with alien courtiers who whispered amongst themselves, their curious gazes following the bewildered human. Despite his confusion, Cade couldn't help but notice how effortlessly Lyria commanded attention. Heads bowed as she passed, and guards saluted her with reverence. It was clear she was someone important, though the full extent of her status wouldn't hit him until later. Finally, they arrived at a massive throne room. At the center sat two figures exuding authority. King Zarnok, whose golden armor gleamed menacingly, and Queen Vera, whose serene expression belied the power radiating from her very being. They regarded Cade with a mix of curiosity and skepticism, clearly unaccustomed to having humans paraded before them. "This is him," Lyria announced boldly, gesturing toward Cade. "Father, mother. I want him as my husband." The room fell silent, save for the soft hum of the ambient lights. Cade froze, his mind struggling to process what he'd just heard. Him? A husband? To an alien princess? It felt like a scene plucked straight from a bizarre dream or maybe a nightmare. King Zarnok leaned forward, his piercing gaze boring into Cade. "Explain yourself, Lyria. Why have you brought this creature here?" "He is remarkable," Lyria said simply, her tone unwavering. "He possesses qualities we lack. Kindness, ingenuity, humility. These traits are rare among our kind, father. Imagine what strength such a union could bring to our lineage. Queen Vera arched a delicate eyebrow. You speak as though mere emotions can compensate for centuries of breeding and tradition. Have you considered the implications of your decision? Lyria crossed her arms defiantly. I have thought of little else since meeting him. I believe he is destined to stand beside me. Cade, still rooted to the spot, finally found his voice. Wait, hold on a second. Nobody asked me if I wanted this. All eyes turned to him, and for a moment he regretted speaking up. But Lyria smiled. A genuine, amused smile, and stepped closer to him. You do not need to decide now, she said softly. But know this, I chose you for a reason. Do not doubt yourself. Her confidence unnerved him, but also intrigued him. How could someone so otherworldly place such faith in him? And more importantly, why? Over the next few days, Cade struggled to adapt to his new surroundings. The palace staff treated him with a mixture of fascination and suspicion, offering him lavish meals he barely recognized and clothing that seemed designed more for display than comfort. Lyria visited him frequently, explaining the customs and history of her people, though much of it went over his head. She spoke passionately about her vision for Earthies, describing dreams of unity and progress that transcended borders and species. Yet not everyone shared her enthusiasm. Many nobles viewed Cade's presence as an insult, whispering conspiracies about how he might corrupt the purity of their bloodline. Some even suggested he was a spy sent by rival factions seeking to undermine the monarchy. The tension escalated one evening during a formal banquet held in his honor, or rather, to scrutinize him further. Dressed in ceremonial robes that felt awkwardly tight, Cade entered the grand dining hall to find rows of tables laden with exotic dishes and glittering chandeliers casting prismatic reflections onto the floor. Alien dignitaries filled the seats, their varied forms creating a surreal tableau. Lyria guided him to the head table, where King Zarnok and Queen Vera awaited. As the feast commenced, conversations buzzed around them, occasionally punctuated by laughter or the clinking of glasses. However, Cade soon became aware of the hostile stares directed his way. One particularly vocal nobleman, Lord Threxen, stood abruptly, raising his goblet high. To Princess Lyria, he declared loudly, his voice dripping with sarcasm. May her choice bring prosperity to our kingdom, assuming a mere human can grasp the complexities of ruling alongside us. Murmurs rippled through the crowd, some agreeing with Threxen, while others exchanged uneasy glances. Cade clenched his fists under the table, feeling heat rise to his cheeks. Beside him, Lyria placed a calming hand on his arm. Lord Threxen, she said coolly, rising to her feet. Your concerns are noted, but let me remind you that wisdom comes not from arrogance but from understanding. Perhaps instead of doubting, you should seek to learn from those different from yourself. Threxen sneered but resumed his seat, muttering under his breath. The rest of the meal proceeded in tense silence, though Cade couldn't shake the feeling that trouble was brewing beneath the surface. Later that night, unable to sleep, Cade wandered the palace gardens. The tranquil setting offered a brief respite from the chaos of court politics. As he strolled past glowing flowers and bubbling fountains, he encountered Lyria sitting alone on a bench, gazing up at the twin moons hanging low in the sky. You shouldn't let them get to you, she said without turning around. Their opinions mean nothing compared to what we can achieve together. Cade sighed, taking a seat beside her. It's not just them. I don't belong here, Lyria. I'm just a guy from Earth who fixes broken stuff. What makes you think I can handle being part of whatever this is? She turned to face him, her galaxy-filled eyes locking onto his. Because you already have. You've shown courage, resilience, and compassion, qualities that cannot be taught. Believe me, Cade, you are more capable than you realize. Her words stirred something within him, though doubt lingered. Could he really rise to the challenge? Or was he merely a pawn in a cosmic game he didn't fully understand? Unbeknownst to Cade and Lyria, forces opposed to their union were mobilizing. Lord Threxen, emboldened by the banquet incident, rallied allies among the nobility, spreading rumors of impending doom should a human ascend to the throne. Meanwhile, whispers reached distant planets, sparking interest from rival factions eager to exploit the instability. One night, as Cade explored the palace library, a labyrinthine chamber filled with holographic archives and ancient scrolls, he stumbled upon a hidden passageway. Drawn by curiosity, he ventured inside, unaware that he was being watched. Shadows moved silently behind him, closing in as he marveled at the strange artifacts lining the corridor. Suddenly, a group of armored guards emerged, blocking his path. Their leader, a hulking figure with crimson eyes, addressed him coldly. "You shouldn't be here, human. This area is restricted." "I didn't mean to intrude," Kate stammered, backing away. "I got lost." His explanation was cut short as the guards lunged forward, seizing him roughly. Panic surged through him as they dragged him deeper into the passage, their intentions unclear but undoubtedly sinister. Just as despair began to take hold, a familiar voice echoed through the corridor. "Release him immediately." Lyria appeared, flanked by her personal guard, her expression fierce. The attackers hesitated, recognizing her authority, but their leader refused to comply. "Princess, this does not concern you. Leave now or face the consequences." Her response was swift and decisive. With a wave of her hand, she unleashed a pulse of energy that sent the guards sprawling. Rushing to Cade's side, she helped him to his feet. "Are you hurt?" "No, I'm fine," he replied, still shaken. "But what's going on? Who are these guys?" "They serve those who oppose us," Lyria explained grimly. "This is only the beginning. We must prepare for greater challenges ahead." Back in the safety of her chambers, Lyria revealed fragments of a larger conspiracy threatening not only their relationship but the stability of Earthes itself. Ancient prophecies spoke of a time when outsiders would disrupt the natural order, leading either to unprecedented prosperity or catastrophic ruin. Those aligned against them believed Cade embodied the latter scenario and were determined to eliminate the perceived threat. Despite the danger, Cade found himself growing closer to Lyria. Her unwavering belief in him ignited a spark of confidence he hadn't known existed. Together, they devised strategies to counteract the opposition, blending her knowledge of royal protocols with his resourcefulness and creativity. Their bond deepened during late-night discussions and shared moments of levity amidst mounting pressure. Once, while practicing ceremonial dances required for upcoming events, Cade tripped spectacularly, sending both of them tumbling to the floor in fits of laughter. Another time, he used his mechanical skills to repair a malfunctioning droid, earning admiration from skeptical courtiers who witnessed the feat. Through these experiences, Cade began to see glimpses of hope, not just for himself, but for the future Lyria envisioned. Yet uncertainty loomed large, and the question remained. Could love truly transcend worlds, or were they destined to crumble under the weight of expectation? As weeks turned into months, tensions within the palace reached a boiling point. Rumors swirled like wildfire, fueled by anonymous messages broadcast across public channels. Holographic screens throughout the city displayed doctored images of Cade allegedly plotting treason, accompanied by inflammatory headlines questioning his loyalty. The propaganda campaign struck fear into the hearts of many citizens, who feared the alliance between their beloved princess and an outsider might destabilize the fragile peace they cherished. King Zarnok summoned Cade to a private audience, his expression unreadable. "You must understand the gravity of your position," he said sternly. "Every move you make is scrutinized, every word analyzed. If you wish to remain here, you must prove yourself worthy, not just to me, but to all of Earthes." Cade nodded, determination hardening his resolve. "I'll do whatever it takes." Meanwhile, Lyria faced increasing pressure from her mother, Queen Vera, who urged caution. "Love is a powerful force, my dear, but it cannot shield you from reality. Your choices affect millions. Are you prepared to bear that responsibility?" "I am," Lyria replied firmly. "And I believe Cade is too. We'll face whatever comes together." Their unity inspired small acts of rebellion among younger members of the court, who admired Lyria's defiance of tradition. Secret meetings took place in hidden alcoves, where plans were hatched to rally support for the controversial couple. Flyers bearing slogans like "Unity through diversity" appeared overnight, plastered on walls and distributed discreetly in crowded marketplaces. One evening, during a festival celebrating Earthes' founding, chaos erupted. Protesters clashed with royal guards, shouting demands for reform and justice. Amidst the turmoil, Cade spotted Lord Threxen orchestrating the unrest, his smug grin confirming suspicions of foul play. Without hesitation, Cade intervened, using his quick thinking to diffuse escalating violence by appealing directly to the crowd. "Listen to me," he shouted, climbing atop a fountain to address the masses. "I may not be one of you, but I respect your culture, your values, and your right to shape your own destiny. Let's talk. Find common ground instead of tearing each other apart." His words resonated, prompting murmurs of agreement. Though tensions remained high, the immediate threat subsided, allowing negotiations to begin. Lyria joined him shortly afterward, her presence lending credibility to his plea for dialogue. That night, exhausted but triumphant, they returned to her chambers. "You were amazing out there," Lyria said, wrapping her arms around him. "People listened because you spoke from the heart." "I couldn't have done it without you," Kate admitted. "Your strength gives me courage." Their embrace lingered, a silent vow forged in the crucible of adversity. Together, they knew they could weather any storm, as long as they stood side by side. Unknown to them, however, a shadow lurked in the wings, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Somewhere in the depths of space, a fleet of warships gathered, their commanders receiving encrypted orders to infiltrate Earthies under cover of darkness. The true test of their bond and their ability to lead was yet to come. The first sign of trouble came during a routine inspection of the palace's defensive systems. Cade, having grown adept at navigating the labyrinthine corridors, noticed subtle discrepancies in the energy readings. Something or someone was tampering with the shields protecting the royal grounds. Concerned, he reported his findings to Lyria, who wasted no time assembling a trusted team to investigate further. Their search led them to an abandoned wing of the palace, long sealed off due to structural instability. As they ventured deeper, the air grew colder, tinged with an eerie static charge. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the compound, signaling an imminent breach. Cade and Lyria exchanged worried glances before sprinting back toward the main hall, where panic had already taken root. Guards scrambled to secure entrances, while civilians fled to designated safe zones. Through the chaos, Cade spotted a squadron of heavily armed soldiers descending from hovering dropships, their insignias marking them as mercenaries hired by enemies unknown. Leading the charge was none other than Lord Threxen, his usual arrogance replaced by cold calculation. "Surrender now, and perhaps we'll spare your lives," Threxen bellowed, brandishing a weapon that pulsed ominously with dark energy. "Resistance is futile." Lyria stepped forward, her posture unyielding despite the odds stacked against them. "You dare attack our home? You underestimate the strength of our people and our resolve." With a flick of her wrist, she activated concealed defenses embedded within the palace architecture. Panels slid open, revealing automated turrets that unleashed a barrage of plasma bolts, forcing the invaders to retreat momentarily. Seizing the opportunity, Cade darted toward a control panel, overriding manual locks to reinforce the barriers. But Threxen anticipated their moves. Deploying portable disruptors, he neutralized the automated defenses, leaving the palace vulnerable once more. "Did you honestly think it would be that easy?" he mocked, advancing steadily. "Your precious human ally has weakened you, distracted you. Now witness the price of folly." As combat intensified, Cade found himself separated from Lyria, dodging blasts while searching for a way to turn the tide. Inspiration struck when he remembered the hidden passageway he'd discovered earlier. If he could reach the central power core, he might disable the invaders' equipment remotely. Risking everything, he slipped away unnoticed, navigating treacherous routes lit only by emergency lights. Meanwhile, Lyria engaged Threxen directly, her agility and combat training proving formidable. Sparks flew as their weapons collided, each strike reverberating through the halls. Despite her skill, fatigue began to show. Threxen pressed his advantage ruthlessly, driving her backward step by step. Desperation fueled Cade as he finally reached the power core. Fingers flying over controls, he initiated a system-wide shutdown sequence, praying it would work. Lights flickered, then died completely, plunging the battlefield into darkness. For several agonizing seconds, silence reigned, until backup generators kicked in, restoring minimal illumination. Seizing the moment, Lyria disarmed Threxen with a well-placed kick, sending his weapon skittering across the floor. Before he could recover, she pinned him down, her voice icy with wrath. "This ends now." Though victory seemed within reach, the cost of battle weighed heavily on both allies and foes alike. Wounded littered the corridors, and smoke hung thick in the air. Cade rejoined Lyria, relief washing over him as he confirmed her safety. Together, they surveyed the aftermath, knowing full well that this skirmish marked only the beginning of greater conflicts to come. In the days following the assault, reconstruction efforts transformed the palace into a fortress brimming with renewed purpose. Walls bore scars of battle, reminders of resilience etched into stone and metal. Yet amidst repairs and reinforcements, whispers of change swept through Earthes. Citizens, witnessing the bravery displayed by Lyria and Cade, began questioning entrenched prejudices. Discussions sparked in taverns and marketplaces, voices rising in debates over unity versus division. For Cade, adapting to life among aliens proved challenging yet rewarding. Each interaction, whether friendly or hostile, unveiled layers of complexity previously unimaginable. He learned to decipher subtle gestures and tones, mastering diplomatic nuances essential for survival in high-stakes environments. Lyria remained steadfast by his side, guiding him through intricate rituals and ceremonies designed to solidify alliances. Their partnership evolved beyond romance, becoming a symbol of hope for those yearning for inclusivity. Yet shadows lingered, cast by lingering doubts and unresolved threats. Intelligence reports hinted at covert operations brewing beyond planetary borders, orchestrated by powers determined to dismantle the fragile peace. Whispers of betrayal echoed through hallowed halls, implicating trusted advisors and lifelong friends. Trust, once abundant, became a scarce commodity, guarded fiercely by those unwilling to succumb to paranoia. During a somber council meeting, King Zarnok addressed assembled leaders, his voice heavy with foreboding. "We stand at a crossroads, my fellow Arathians. Our decisions today will shape generations to come. Shall we cling to outdated beliefs, or shall we embrace evolution?" Queen Vera added gently, "Change requires sacrifice. Are we prepared to pay the price?" Cade listened intently, realizing the enormity of stakes involved. No longer merely a guest or consort-to-be, he carried responsibilities weighing heavily on shoulders unaccustomed to such burdens. Yet alongside pressure came clarity, a burgeoning understanding of interconnectedness binding diverse beings together. Every choice mattered, every action rippled outward, affecting countless lives intertwined in a cosmic tapestry. One evening, as twilight bathed the palace gardens in soft hues, Cade and Lyria walked hand in hand, sharing quiet reflections. "Do you ever wonder what lies ahead?" he asked, gazing at distant stars twinkling faintly above. "All the time," she confessed, leaning into him. "But wondering isn't enough. We must act, adapt, grow. That's how legends are born." Her words resonated deeply, igniting a flame within him. Legends weren't crafted solely through grand gestures or heroic feats. They emerged from perseverance, from choosing courage over fear, love over hate. Together, they vowed to forge a path illuminated by shared dreams, undeterred by obstacles looming large. Little did they know, fate harbored secrets poised to unravel carefully laid plans. A mysterious artifact unearthed during excavation hinted at ancient prophecies intertwining destinies across galaxies. Scholars pored over cryptic inscriptions, piecing together fragments suggesting pivotal roles awaiting fulfillment. Time ticked inexorably onward, marching toward revelations destined to alter courses forever. As dawn broke over Earthes, painting skies ablaze with promise, Cade and Lyria prepared for journeys uncertain yet inevitable. Challenges awaited, some foreseeable, others lurking in shadows unseen. But armed with conviction and camaraderie, they embraced futures unfolding before them, ready to write stories etched in stars and hearts alike. As the days turned into weeks, the mysterious artifact uncovered during the excavation became a focal point of intrigue. Scholars and mystics from across Earthes gathered in the palace library, poring over its intricate carvings and glowing runes. The artifact pulsed faintly with an otherworldly energy, as though alive, and emitted soft hums that resonated deep within those who stood near it. Lyria felt drawn to it, her fingers tracing the engravings instinctively, while Cade marveled at its craftsmanship, noting how its design seemed both alien and eerily familiar. One evening, under the watchful eyes of King Zarnok and Queen Vera, a renowned astrologer named Calith stepped forward to interpret the inscriptions. His voice trembled with reverence as he spoke. "This is no mere relic. It is a key, a conduit to forces beyond our comprehension. According to prophecy, it will awaken when two souls from different realms unite in purpose and love. Together, they shall unlock the path to salvation or destruction." Lyria glanced at Cade, their connection now undeniable even to outsiders. She tightened her grip on his hand, determination blazing in her galaxy-filled eyes. "Then we must embrace this destiny," she declared. "Whatever lies ahead, we face it together." The decision sent ripples through the court. Some saw it as a sign of divine intervention, proof that Lyria's choice of Cade was fated. Others viewed it as reckless folly, fearing the unknown consequences of meddling with ancient powers. Lord Threxon, though stripped of his rank after the failed invasion, continued to sow dissent among the nobility, whispering warnings of doom should the artifact be activated. Despite mounting opposition, preparations for the activation ceremony proceeded. Under Calith's guidance, a sacred ritual was planned, requiring precise alignment with celestial bodies and the combined energies of Lyria and Cade. The palace grounds were transformed into a luminous arena, surrounded by towering crystalline structures designed to amplify their power. Servants adorned in ceremonial robes bustled about, ensuring every detail adhered to tradition. On the eve of the ceremony, Cade found himself alone in the gardens, staring up at the twin moons casting silver light over the floating flowers. He couldn't shake the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. What if he failed? What if activating the artifact unleashed chaos instead of harmony? "You're thinking too much," Lyria said softly, joining him. Her presence brought comfort, as it always did. "Doubt is natural, but trust in us. We've faced worse odds before." He smiled weakly. "Yeah, but back then, I didn't have an entire planet counting on me. And you still don't," she countered gently. "You have me. That's all that matters. Trust your instincts, they've never steered you wrong." Her words bolstered his resolve, and when dawn broke over Earthes, they stood side by side in the center of the arena, clad in ceremonial attire that shimmered like stardust. The artifact hovered between them, suspended by unseen forces, its glow intensifying as the ritual began. Calith chanted incantations in a language older than time itself, each syllable resonating through the air like thunder. Around them, crystals vibrated, channeling energy toward the artifact. Lyria and Cade clasped hands, their hearts beating as one, as waves of light surged outward, connecting them to the pulsating core. Suddenly, the sky above darkened, and a vortex of swirling colors erupted, pulling everyone's gaze upward. From the rift emerged a colossal entity, a being of pure energy, shifting between forms too vast and alien to comprehend. Its voice boomed, echoing not just in ears but in minds. "Children of Earthes," it intoned, "you seek to alter the course of fate. Know this, unity demands sacrifice. Are you prepared to pay the price?" Fear rippled through the crowd, but Lyria raised her chin defiantly. "We are ready," she proclaimed. "For peace, for progress, for hope. We will endure whatever comes." Cade nodded, his voice steady despite the turmoil inside him. "Together, we can overcome anything." The entity regarded them silently, its form flickering as if weighing their sincerity. Then, without warning, it extended tendrils of light, enveloping both Lyria and Cade. Pain seared through them, yet intertwined with it was a profound sense of clarity, as though centuries of knowledge flowed directly into their consciousness. Memories, not their own, flashed before their eyes. Battles fought, civilizations risen and fallen, dreams realized and shattered. When the light faded, they collapsed to their knees, gasping for breath. The artifact lay dormant once more, its glow extinguished. Silence hung heavy over the arena until Calith broke it with a triumphant cry. "It is done! The bond is forged!" Cheers erupted from the assembled crowd, mingling with tears of relief. Even skeptics bowed their heads in awe, unable to deny the transformation wrought upon the royal couple. They radiated an aura of unity and strength, their very presence inspiring hope and courage. In the days that followed, changes swept across Earthes. Walls crumbled, not physical ones, but barriers of prejudice and fear. Citizens from neighboring planets arrived bearing gifts and goodwill, eager to forge alliances with a kingdom led by such unconventional rulers. Trade flourished, cultural exchanges blossomed, and innovation surged as diverse minds collaborated freely. Yet challenges remained. Rival factions, emboldened by whispers of instability, launched covert attacks aimed at undermining the newfound peace. Each skirmish tested Lyria and Cade's leadership, forcing them to adapt and grow stronger together. Through it all, their bond deepened, becoming unbreakable. One night, as they stood atop the palace spire gazing at the stars, Cade turned to Lyria with a smile. "Do you remember that first night we met? When you said you wanted me as your husband?" She laughed softly, leaning into him. "How could I forget? You looked so terrified." "Well, I wasn't wrong to be scared," he teased. "But looking back, I wouldn't change a thing." "Neither would I," she murmured, her eyes reflecting galaxies. "Because here we are, two halves of a whole, united against all odds. As they embraced beneath the endless sky, their story served as a testament to the power of love, courage, and unity. Boundaries blurred, worlds merged, and legends were born. Not just of kings and queens, but of ordinary beings who dared to dream beyond limits. And so, under the watchful gaze of countless stars, Earthies entered a new era, guided by leaders whose hearts beat as one, forever entwined in destiny's dance. Years passed, and the bond between Lyria and Cade only grew stronger with time. Their love became a beacon of hope for all of Earthies, transcending species and uniting worlds in ways no one had thought possible. After stabilizing their kingdom and ensuring peace across the galaxy, they decided it was time to formalize their union in a grand ceremony that would be remembered for generations. The royal wedding took place in the heart of the floating gardens, where flowers from every corner of the universe bloomed in radiant colors. The entire planet celebrated, with music, feasts, and fireworks lighting up the skies. Cade, dressed in regal attire tailored to fit both human and alien aesthetics, stood beside Lyria, whose gown shimmered like a cascade of stars. As they exchanged vows under the twin moons, even the most skeptical nobles wiped away tears, moved by the sincerity of their devotion. Their marriage marked not just the joining of two souls but also the blending of cultures. Together, they ruled with wisdom and compassion, introducing reforms that uplifted the marginalized and fostered innovation. Over the years, their family grew. First came twins, a boy named Solon and a girl named Lyra, each inheriting traits from both parents. Solon had Cade's curiosity and knack for problem-solving, while Lyra possessed Lyria's ethereal beauty and commanding presence. More children followed, each unique yet united by the same core values instilled by their parents: kindness, resilience, and an unshakable belief in unity. There was Kaelin, who could communicate with machines as naturally as breathing; Naira, whose laughter seemed to heal even the deepest wounds; and Tarek, a dreamer who often gazed at the stars, imagining new frontiers to explore. As their children grew, Lyria and Cade dedicated themselves to raising them as ambassadors of change. They taught them about diplomacy, empathy, and the importance of understanding those different from themselves. Family dinners were lively affairs filled with debates, storytelling, and laughter, bridging gaps between human traditions and alien customs. When Solon turned 16, he led his first diplomatic mission to a neighboring planet, earning praise for his ability to mediate conflicts. Lyra followed in her mother's footsteps, becoming a fierce advocate for justice within the royal court. Meanwhile, Kaelin revolutionized Earth's technology, creating systems that improved lives across galaxies. Through it all, Lyria and Cade remained inseparable, their partnership a testament to what love and determination could achieve. Though challenges arose, political intrigues, natural disasters, and threats from beyond, they faced them together, their strength multiplied by their unwavering support for one another.